Hi, and welcome to the next episode of TMA Trucks A to Z. Today we're going to talk about a crash. So what happens after a crash and what do you do? What's the procedure? How do you get recertified so you can get back out on the road? So today when I was driving into work, behind me this beautiful TMA drove in, and it was hit. It's a scary sight to see. You can see that part of the attenuator is actually sitting in the bed of this truck. So I just want to give you a little story about this crash. This is pretty incredible. So it was here in the state of Pennsylvania, and a woman was on her way to the airport. She was running late, so she was in a rush. So it was right in the middle of the morning. So there was a lot of traffic, but she ended up veering right into the work zone. Luckily, this attenuator truck was sitting there. She ended up slamming right into the back of that attenuator truck. Her car completely totaled. But here's the funny part. She actually was able to get police on the scene, she was able to walk away, and she was able to catch her flight. So moral of the story, if there's a TMA truck in the work zone, not only will the person that got distracted and runs into that work zone live, potentially get to their flight at the airport, but the TMA truck driver was also able to walk away because of the build of that truck, which we've gone over in previous episodes. What I want to do is walk you through what a post-impact procedure is. So I'm going to bring in one of my associates, Ian, and he's going to go over what to look for, and then what do you do afterwards. And we're also going to go over how do you get the most insurance dollars to make sure that you can get a brand new Scorpion safe so you can get back out on the road. Okay, so let's go meet Ian. So I'm standing here with World's Retail and Parts Specialist, Ian. Ian's going to take us through what's called a post-impact procedure. After you get into an accident, if the dealer that you bought the truck from is a certified Scorpion repair facility, like we are here at Royal, you can take them there. They're going to walk you through this process, so Ian's going to do that today so you know what they're going to be doing and what to look for. So Ian, what do you have in your hand here?
What I have is the post-impact procedure sent to me by Traffics. This is a diagram that shows me where to measure and how to measure the most important pieces on the attenuator to make sure that they're still square and within spec.
Awesome. Thanks, Ian, for taking us through that. So we want to walk through, I know there's 5 main steps, correct, to a post-impact procedure. So Ian's going to walk us through all those steps. So step 1?
Okay, step 1 will be taking photographs of all the damage that is visible. Step 2, I would go on to make the measurements, take the measurements that are needed all across the attenuator. Let me give you a couple examples. First example would be taking the measurement from the cross hairs here. So from corner to corner, it has to be a specific measurement.
Now Ian, what are you looking for with that measurement?
What I'm looking for is it to be as close to 92 inches as possible.
So let me see this. So 92 inches because this diagram here says it's 92 inches across, correct?
Yes.
And it can be only, just a hint, plus minus 1 inch to make sure that it's still safe to be out on the highway, so he has to take this measurement. Yes. All right, thanks, Ian.
The second measurement I would take are from front to back, from diaphragm to diaphragm, which should be at 58 inches.
What do you got there?
58 on the die. You would also go ahead and measure underneath because depending on how they hit, it could be a different measurement on the bottom compared to on top.
Now obviously in this situation they had to shear off that first cartridge of the attenuator, so this would obviously be a total because it can't go back out on the highway. But what Ian is talking about with these measurements is if it is salvageable and you do take it to a certified Scorpion repair facility, if it's plus minus 1 inch, that company's going to be able to fix it for you to get it back out on the road, okay, certified. So step 3 would be what?
So step 3 would be also taking a look at the components underneath the body, which will be the tie-down bars and the shear plates.
So what are you looking for there?
What I'm looking for is any clear signs that the body was shifted, fresh rust or fresh metal shavings.
Now what if the body was shifted? What does that mean?
If the body shifted, the whole body might have to be realigned. The frame of the truck might have to be also checked to make sure that's aligned properly, because it can affect how it drives in the long run.
Right, so you want to make sure that attenuator works properly, so that truck has to be exactly perfect in order for it to absorb that impact. Awesome. So we're standing here at the bulkhead of the truck. Now the impressive thing, I know Ian, you can talk a little bit more about this, is that the truck was impacted, and take a look. See all that space still in there? It's amazing that it took the impact of that vehicle and it didn't even touch the cab of this truck. That's why that driver remains safe.
Like Sam said, you take a look here and you can tell that it didn't shift.
Incredible. So what is step 4, Ian?
Step 4 would to send my compiled photographs and measurements onto Trafix. They will ultimately make the decision whether it can be repaired or just be replaced.
So I know magical step number 5 is you deal with a lot of insurance companies, which we'll go into in a little bit, how to get the most bang for your buck out of the insurance companies, but what do you do with them?
One of two things. The insurance company will actually come out and look at the attenuator and the damage to see for themselves.
Which they did with this one,
Which
correct?
they did with
Okay.
themselves. And the second option would be me just compiling all the information, the photographs, the measurements, and sending it to the insurance company.
Awesome. Now, after all those steps, I know, Ian, that the final kind of secret step there is just following up with that company, making sure that you have a date when that Scorpion's going to be delivered, so we can get it on the truck, so this truck can get back out there and protect more men and women in the work zone. Ian, thanks so much. That was awesome. So let's go find out how to get the most out of your insurance company. I'm sitting here with Royal's service manager, Andy, and Andy's going to shed some light on what to do with your insurance company after a crash happens. So, Andy, what's some insight on how to, do you call the insurance company? Do you come here? So what happens?
I always recommend that the customer brings the truck to us after it's been an impact, and then the insurance adjusters can come to us to do a quote, because then we can go over the fact that the Scorpion is a life-saving device and it has 0 depreciation. A lot of customers find out that the insurance company wants to derate the value of the Scorpion from the year to the year of the truck, or by just going by the value of a truck for that year, and they don't look at the fact that the Scorpion could have been put on at any time, and as long as it's working, does not depreciate.
So what you're saying, no matter what, if that Scorpion is totaled, then you should be getting 100% of the cost of that attenuator, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so bottom line, you have to make sure you go through a post-impact procedure, get all the pictures, get all the measurements. Traffic then can deem it if it's safe to be out on the road or not, and then they can deal with the insurance company. Is that the process?
Yes, it's a process to go through that measures every step of the attenuator after an impact, and then that information gets sent to Trafix for their final judgment.
Now, just a little added bonus. How many crashes have you dealt with here at Royal?
I couldn't even give you a guesstimate on that. Hundreds.
And there you go. So always have a truck in your work zone. Just to confirm what Andy just said, we're going to actually call into Dave Evans, who's the attenuator specialist at Trafix in California. We're going to hear what he has to say about the subject. So, Dave, when a TMA gets hit, what are the couple things that someone should know about how to get reimbursed from insurance companies? What are some mythbusters, and what can you tell me about it?
I can tell you that at its base level, a Scorpion truck-mounted attenuator is a sacrificial, life-saving device, and they are purposely put in harm's way. You have to be able to reduce the energy of an impact at any time. So the only way that you can measure a TMA is performance. If it performs its job, the value is at 100%.
So what if someone says that the product has depreciated? What does that mean?
They are trying to confuse apples and oranges. What it means is you get depreciation based on the fact that either value is decreased based on aesthetics, scratches and bumps in it would reduce its value. There is no depreciation in a piece of equipment unless the equipment gets degraded in its ability to perform.
Okay, so how does someone get 100% of the value of...
If the end user is not getting full replacement value for their attenuator, you would have to ask what basis is the insurance company trying to reduce that value. They then own the liability of whether or not the next time that gets hit, it saves the life of the person who runs into it.
What about when a TMA truck gets hit?
If the product is properly deployed, where it was being used, and it was impacted, that impact was not the fault of the company that has the TMA. There is a federal regulation that says that should not be counted as a result as an accident for purposes of insurance.
What does it mean to be a certified attenuator company?
What it means is the company has received training from Trafix Devices. and has made a commitment on behalf of Trafix Devices to properly support, maintain, and repair, install, and market the Scorpion truck and trailer mounted attenuators.
So we learned a lot today about what happens after a crash. It's scary, but you want to make sure to get recertified and that that attenuator is as safe as possible out on the highway, because hundreds of accidents happen every day and 750 deaths in work zones still happen every single year. That's too many. We got to get it down to zero. Okay, we want everyone to go home to their kids and their wives and their sisters and brothers at night every single day. So if you have any other questions, feel free to call us. You can email me, connect with me on LinkedIn. We hope you enjoyed the episode. If so, give us a like or comment, ask us some questions, and tune in next week for the next episode of A to Z. Thanks, everyone.